at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks, and if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge, and Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks, and if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge, and Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our...
Hello, people of the internet. Don't touch me. Don't touch knees with me under the table. Yuck. Let's try that again. Hello, people of the internet.
Hi.
I'm American McGee.
I'm Martin.
And we are coming to you from the underground lair in lovely Shanghai, China. It has been like a steamy, hot mess outside.
Pretty hot.
I'm not a fan. I went outside yesterday and it was showing 34 degrees Celsius and 85 degrees humidity. And if you don't know what that means in Celsius, it means it's really, really effing hot and humid.
Yeah, it's kind of like that in my house.
Yeah.
Because my aircon is only average.
That's not good. Well, now you're here in the underground lair and we have good air conditioning.
26.5 degrees, apparently.
That's because you're in the room and you're just hot. So I see that everybody heard the Scruffy Bumps theme song playing during the intro there. I know that it's playing on top of the Anxiety Rabbit plush image, but we don't really have a lot of Scruffy Bumps like stuff finished yet, but somehow we do have a theme song, and we will talk about Scruffy Bumps today. I even have a little mini Scruffy Bumps here with me.
Can we see that against the black background?
Yeah,
that's how he comes for you.
well, you're not supposed to see him. It's just supposed to be like you're going about your business, and then suddenly Scruffy Bumps he comes to kill you. We will talk about Scruffy Bumps today. We're also gonna show off some new artwork from Asylum. We have some other Plushy Dreadfuls design stuff to take a look at. We have some very interesting news about Mysterious Studios, which would be the development studio we're hoping to build towards the building and development of Oz Adventures and Alice Asylum. And we're also going to be giving away some prizes today. What are the people going to win today, Martin?
White bunny sets.
It is
apparently
a white bunny set, yeah. I went upstairs and I asked Yin if she wanted to throw any sort of prize stuff into the hat today, and she said give away the white bunny set. So there you have it. It's a pretty pricey one. I was surprised she said that, but I didn't want to like stop her.
Do we think they deserve it? I mean, it's pretty awesome.
I don't know.
Are they good enough to win?
Maybe. So we will give away 4 of these sets throughout the live stream today. The way that normally works is that Martin asks a terrible question, you reply.
Forgot about that.
You reply in the chat so that Nightbot sees you typing, and then we ask Nightbot to select a winner, and we'll send the thing to you in the mail. So anyway, let's say hi to some of our friends here in the chat. I noticed that some of the people in the chat are now on their 12-month of subscribing at Twitch.
Has it been that long that we've switched over to Twitch?
It must be. That's incredible.
pretty incredible.
Yeah, so I saw that among those, Lucky Dragon has got his 12-month badge, I guess you'd call it. And I also saw some of our familiar names there.
Arthur Zero,
And Malicious Misery.
Fayrula, Clown Cadaver. We seen that in a while?
It's been a while.
In a while.
Yeah.
Any new ones?
I see Bloody Vorpal saying, I just want to know if Alice Asylum will come out. Yes. It might just take a really long time.
Might do. Torteline Jones seems new.
Merciful Ray.
John Emmanuel Saavedra Chavez.
And I see Mr. Andrew Hawkins in the chat there as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, good. So lots of familiar faces and quite a few names that I don't recognize, but welcome to all.
Some people enjoying my Margin Boo t-shirt.
You've worn that before, though.
I only have a finite amount of clothes. Some of them I'm going to
I
duplicate
only
sometimes.
have one black t-shirt I just wear every single day. All right, so where we last left off with me stumbling through Madness Returns, I'm going to admit that before the stream started, I jumped in here and I finished the dumb chess puzzle because my brain isn't working today. I feel kind of ill for a variety of reasons.
What's Badonkanonk complaining about? No love for the YouTube crowd. We said some YouTube names.
Yeah, we did.
Sure we did. There's another one. Athos Andrea. Angelica Sorrow. They're all on YouTube. So we've got love for you no matter where you're watching.
So I did jump in and complete the dumb chess puzzle, and I did it because my brain isn't functioning. My brain isn't functioning because I got a terrible migraine headache. I'm not exactly sure of the cause of the migraine. I mean, I know it's this thing in my neck, but I also recently had some kind of personal tragedy, sad news, and I think stress also plays a part in the headaches, so that didn't help.
Not good.
Yeah. So I did finish the chess puzzle so I didn't have to fumble around in front of everybody. But then we went to play the chess puzzle and it was insanely easy.
The easiest chess puzzle in the world.
I don't think it qualifies as a puzzle even.
Barely.
Barely, yeah. But yeah, I wasn't sure. I said this before we got on the stream if I wanted to mention or not, but I had a close family relative pass away. And I think for those of you that watch the live streams, you'll know that I use the nickname Stick Boy. Some of you may even know that was given to me by my uncle back when I used to work on cars. The story goes that there was a shop assistant boy like me who worked there prior to me, and he wasn't much to look at, I guess, so he was referred to as Dogface Stick Boy. And then he got the boot, or he moved on to a better place to work where they didn't call him Dogface. And so then, hey, we found him.
There he is.
He's right there. We'd been talking about Raz on the previous stream, and there we found him. But yeah, so I went and took the job from Dogface Stick Boy at the car shop where my uncle was working. He was the one that gave me the job, and that's who we were talking about, who passed away. And he said to me that I was still Stick Boy, but I wasn't really dog-faced. I was okay to look at. So I just became plain old Stick Boy instead of dog-faced Stick Boy. And yeah, so I got the news yesterday that my uncle had passed away. And I wrote about it on Facebook for those of you that are interested in kind of knowing more about it. I don't think I can talk about it here on the stream or I'll probably start crying. But he was very instrumental in my upbringing. He played a part very similar to a father to me. And I feel bad due to the virus and other things that I wasn't able to connect with him more back in the States before he passed. But anyway, that's made today and yesterday a little bit tough for me. So I don't know. I guess that his memory will always live on in that nickname. So that's there's something there, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were telling that story, I did remember the Psychonauts thing that we were talking about last week. I didn't want to interrupt you, but then you went ahead and found it anyway.
Yeah, I knew where it was.
So
remember that the not knowing how to play my own game is all part of the act, Martin. Don't take it too seriously.
Well, you have a lot of condolences coming in from the chat, so that's very lovely
It's
of our,
very
of our
nice.
fans out there.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think a lot of people don't. I mean, I don't talk about it maybe often enough, but that Uncle Jimmy was the one who got me into computers. When I was 13 years old, he sat me down at a computer and said, write a program to calculate all the angles for constructing wooden domes. And I was only 13 years old, and he gave me a ream of data from NASA on how to calculate these crazy angles that you need to create geodesic domes. And I sat there for weeks constructing the code that ended up being this huge thing. And that was all because at that time he was building geodesic domes in Texas as a business, and they had invented, or I guess constructed, some fairly interesting saw technology to make it possible to cut the pieces that went into the domes. But in order to input the right angles and whatnot, you had to have a program to generate the angles, and I did that. So that experience got me into programming at the age of 12. It was sort of like
Pretty hardcore intro.
yeah, it was, and I don't know, what made him think that that would work, but he obviously had faith in me, and so he asked a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old kid to do something pretty radical and difficult, and I did it, and then that legacy of my involvement with computers just went on from there. Yeah, so
His second task was design a platformer around fairy tales. That was the second thing he asked you to do.
exactly. Anyway, so
Right. So what's going on in the chat?
everybody's getting lag.
I mean, the glass wire is showing it's not super stable, but it's not dying. So I think we're all right for now, he says, touching wood. Yeah, let's keep an eye on that. Yeah, people lag. It's a mixture of lag and condolences. So
Great.
yeah.
Thank you for the condolences and sorry for the lag.
Yeah.
For those of you that are here for the first time, we are streaming from China and we do have to use a VPN. And no, we're not advertising a VPN as many YouTubers do. But the VPN does sometimes suffer getting past the Great Firewall. So
However, I will say all of those VPNs that you see advertised by YouTubers
don't work.
don't really work over here.
No, they don't.
Like Surfshark, Express, what are the other ones? Nord. They don't cut the mustard over here.
But then they don't necessarily advertise themselves as that being their strong suit, right?
They don't. It's more of a watch
Protect
Netflix.
your privacy type of thing.
Watch
right.
Netflix from a different country type of thing. So yeah, there you go. For anyone who didn't know.
All right, so I've got a combination of enemies that I'm not a big fan of.
You've been doing pretty well though. You took down that armored card guard quite easily.
I mean, I don't want to say anything yet, but I kind of feel like these guys are, they're understandable in their routine,
Right.
But as you know, I'm not a huge fan of flying enemies. So the fact that I've got to look at flying enemies is annoying. And I'm also not a fan of the lock-on mechanic in this game.
Are you not?
No.
You've never mentioned that.
I'm really not. I think it's a piece of garbage. So, just now I'm trying to switch between lock on to the card guard guy and lock on to the flying ruin, and it's just not doing what it's supposed to do.
Well, at least the flying ones have been dealt with now.
They're gone. But that pace of the enemies' mechanics working together is acceptable compared to some of the instances where you've got flying enemies plus guys on the ground plus the lock-on mechanic stuff. It just makes it unfun to play that way. Like, I gotta put the controller under the table so everybody's not dying from the clicking.
I don't think anyone's mentioned the clicking. 69 the World says that you're getting better at this game. You are doing well today.
I don't think that I'm better. It's weird too
It
because
seems like
I feel absolutely terrible today. I have this migraine. I'm tired. I didn't sleep last night, so maybe I'm just in a You know what it is? I don't have enough energy to fake being bad.
The migraine's not just connected some neurons.
That's
It's like
all it
unlocked
is.
your game playing skill.
No, I think I'm just too tired to pretend at being terrible. Although I am a bit lost now. It seems like I should be going this direction, but it's not. I'm not seeing it. Where is it that it wants me to go?
It's Taylor Hearts saying somehow this is the only live stream they've managed to catch.
Well, we'll try to make it a good one.
We will.
Yeah.
It's usually Thursday. It's Friday today because I was watching footy and I knew that I was going to be up late.
So for everybody who has trouble sleeping, Martin is now going to tell you his footy experience, and I promise that if you can't sleep normally after you hear this, you will fall asleep. Go for it, Martin. What exactly is footy, and how did you enjoy it?
No, it was just the England-Denmark, I believe we were playing. I was going to say, the match itself wasn't thrilling, really. I don't think either team played super well. And Denmark did make it really difficult for us. Still awake?
No, well, see, now, this time you're not using all the technical marmo, bojomo, whatever.
Okay, I'll go into it.
No.
They did a really good goal from a set piece. It was really good.
Now you're getting me.
But our winning goal was from a fairly soft-ish penalty, which I could see some people complaining about. But as I said, I believed that we did have some stronger penalty shouts that were waved away earlier in the match. So, swings and roundabouts. I think it was deserved.
Oh boy. I don't know about you, but I'm not a footy ball fan in the least.
Generally, I'm not, but I mean, it's a big tournament, and you know, England have done well. They don't really get far very often, so go and support them, even though the match is on at 3 a.m. and I didn't get home till 6 a.m. because of extra time. So yeah, I was pretty tired that day and didn't really want to be traveling here. So
that's fine.
It's fine.
We gave you the excuse for not being here. Yeah, totally fine.
So it did scroll past. Somebody said there was accusations of cheating. I mean, there always is in football. You know, they dived. Oh, that was a soft tackle.
So
Oh,
that
whatever.
is the one thing that I know from football. You call football, we call soccer, but is the sort of the memes of the guy who falls down and looks like he needs to go to the hospital.
I think that was Neymar from the last World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of them, right?
Oh yeah, but he was super. There was like he was meme lord for for the last World Cup.
Well, I just fell down and hurt my knee very badly, and I need to continue.
You're Neymar.
I am Neymar. Even I know this meme stuff, right? I mean,
yeah, it sucks. A lot of diving and stuff. I wish it wasn't in the game, but it is.
Right.
So I mean, can't really complain about it, but it does give ammo to people who lose. Your side was just cheating anyway. Well, yours probably did as well.
Sounds great. This is why I don't watch it. I prefer politics. They're all cheating and falling down and claiming a knee and all this stuff as well. And it also doesn't mean anything in the end. But that's my version of watching sports.
Malicious X-Misery with a good callback to the IT crowd, with Moss and Roy, the IT nerds, pretending to be manly men talking about football that they knew nothing about.
Exactly.
It's a pretty funny episode.
Yeah, get away! Unlock! So, that guy really hurts you when he whacks you with his big hurt stick there.
Oh, don't let him whack you.
Well, it's difficult. He's designed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else we got going on? American makes a lot more use of the decoy rabbit than I did, says Deeps to the Peeps.
It's useful.
It's useful. Use it more.
It is very useful.
Mr. Deeps.
Whoops. I also forget where it is most of the time. I'm always pressing the wrong button. I don't know if everybody notices that or not. It's pretty sad.
You don't have to be good at gaming to be a gamer, says Pastel Witch 613. True. True, there's no saying that being a gamer belongs to the elite.
We say that here very often, actually.
Well, I wouldn't know because I'm fucking awesome at games.
You like to go on about how elite you are. You're probably one of those gamer gators, too. I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
am. I'm the gatekeeper of who is allowed to call themselves a gamer due to my eliteness.
I'm not surprised. You strike me as such. You sports-loving male something. I don't know. I can't even think of insults today, so...
Just finished Resident Evil 8 on Super Maximum Ultimate Difficulty.
See,
that was no mean feat.
That sounds like oppression to me. I'm not enjoying this at all.
Yeah, Nicholas Brokaw just asks what I've been playing recently. So yes, Resident Evil 8, PS5, played it on normal, played it again on super hard. I didn't platinum it. You know, there's a lot of trophies I couldn't be bothered with finding, but finished it twice. That's good enough for me. I picked up Persona 5 Royal, JRPG. You know of it?
Sure. I'm not actually listening to you because I'm trying to kill these guys and not die, but keep going, please.
Yeah, 20 quid on PSN, on sale. Man alive, that's a complicated game. I'm like 25 hours in, and it's still giving me tutorials about new stuff you can do. There's a lot going on in that game.
I bet.
But you can't complain about not getting value for money. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm not playing it to the full. I'm just enjoying it.
So I'm kind of curious, do these guys keep respawning as long as that guy is alive? I feel like that's what's going on here.
Let's see if chat knows.
He's stuck, right? He's just kind of hanging out over there yelling at me, but he's not moving, which is cool. I like that. It's a good design flaw.
Just going through. Oh,
what?
I
guess
there's a time limit
I see.
before he sucks you down.
That's not the kind of live stream we're about.
Right?
All right. Well, it seems that I successfully navigated that on the second attempt. So what are you going to do? This is nice. I'm walking around on squishy meat tiles now.
Ugh.
There's even tongues. Look, little tentacle tongues squirting around on the floor here.
Nice. The big question for me on Persona 5, who am I dating? You know, because it's half fighting, half high school simulator.
Wow.
I don't know yet. I've not met everyone, but I'm thinking it's going to be the first girl, Anne, the sort of the model. Who knows? I've not met them all. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
What does it want me to do here? I guess I don't know.
Oh.
This is the part where my brain honestly isn't working. So I said at the start of this stream, Martin, please fill in for me when I fall down and don't have anything to say. So I don't know if he's doing a good job, but at the end of the stream, everyone can give him a rating on how well he did on that.
12 out of 10.
I
I'm
don't
sure they
think
all
so.
love it. What else we got going on here? It says you kill him eventually. Well,
That we know.
that we know.
But this whole thing is a little weird. Am I supposed to just jump out into the teeth over there like a leap of faith? Oh, it's got a little indicator. It's like use the what's-he pot. Okay, I'll follow the instructions.
Follow the instructions.
Sorry, game. Sorry.
I wish we could have dated Ryuji. Yeah, he's cool, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe in Persona 6. Well, Clown Cadaver is already rating me a 20, but we don't know what that's out of.
I'm thinking that's out of a 200. Well, it's indicating that I should fire the teapot into the void, which I'm doing, and I'm also putting a whatsy on the whatsy. But nothing.
There's something shoot over to the left, behind that column. Something popped up.
What?
Go back and do the switch again. You'll see it.
The switch is on.
Well, try and look round that side then.
Oh, that. Oh, thanks, Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not completely useless.
Yes. Well, even Alpha 1412 says, shoot the clock, dude.
Now I don't even know where the clock is. Oh, you got to jump out to this platform to get to it. And of course, by now I've wasted all my time, so I won't be able to do it in time, but okay.
Yeah,
Yay.
everyone's telling you to shoot the clock.
Yeah, I know.
Fruitcakes is asking if this is your first time playing the game, as it's their first live stream.
It is
Isn't this
not
like
my
this one?
first time playing the game.
It's like the third. Well,
Yes,
obviously you played it
we launched
during
the
the
game-
development.
We launched the game just prior to this live stream, and it just launched and started in this exact location. Yes,
But this is the third time during live streams, or just the second?
I think this is the second time during the live stream.
Right.
But I'm really not sure, to be honest with you. Don't ask me difficult questions today. We'll be lucky if I manage to just get through the stream today.
Yes, Blue Hero is answering that you have played before. Blue, what's that? Becca's Marie is just joining from, I don't know how you pronounce that. Cheyenne? Same name as the mountain in Wyoming. Still got the military stuff underneath it. Is that how you pronounce it?
It's fine, Martin. Keep going.
Cheyenne?
Yeah,
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne Mountain.
It's where the Stargate is?
Probably that's where that is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, Stargate SG-1 was such a great TV show. It really was.
I'm not sure if you're doing great or you're floundering. I'm just letting you go.
I'm just jumping from one topic to another as like mental diarrhea.
That's great.
But it was.
Smell it.
It really
smells
was
like
great.
mental diarrhea.
Atlantis was also good, Stargate Atlantis.
Oh no!
And I was heartbroken when they cancelled Stargate Universe after 2 seasons.
All
Because
right.
that was shaping up to be great.
I have to say, I only really watched the SG-1, I guess was the first one.
With MacGyver.
Yeah, I like MacGyver
Right.
a lot. Oh, this thing's just moving up and down on its own. It's not out to kill me. Gotcha. And I didn't really get to watch the rest of them. A lot of times my TV viewing, like, stuff has more to just do with basic accessibility, depending on where
Right.
I happen to be living at the time. And if I have a thing that lets me easily watch TV. And then these days it's just become about time because we've got a kid, and even though I've got these little Android media boxes that are hooked into Netflix and can connect to the outside world via VPN, I don't really use them that much.
So all the TV you're watching these days is, what's it called?
Blippy.
Blippy?
Any parents out there will know about Blippy. Now, this is an interesting one that only Blippy parents will know about, is that we were watching Blippy along with millions of other kids and parents and stuff for ages. And the other day we turn on Blippy and it's a new guy and he's wearing
What?
like the... So it's sort of like if you got used to Ronald McDonald being played by the same actor for years and years and years, and then one day there's Ronald McDonald, the outfit and everything, but like it's a different dude, and it's clearly a different dude, but they try to like not even say anything about it.
Right.
So then you're just like, well, no, wait a second, what's going on? And even our kid was like,
He knew.
He knew. He was like, no.
Who's this guy?
Yeah. So we had to go and look it up, and apparently they had mentioned that the main guy had just sort of burnt out and decided to take on a different role.
Right.
I'm sure he sold it to some media conglomerate, and made off like a bandit, and good for him. But it's kind of freaked out, I think, a lot of parents and children. But yeah, we do watch a bit of Blippy.
And
How many people in the chat know what and who Blippy is?
I did see somebody saying that I think they said they were a nanny and they are well aware of Blippy.
That's right. Now, I think what you're not aware of is that Blippy's real name is Steven Grossman. You have to go Wikipedia him to learn this, and that prior to becoming the host of a hugely successful internet children's, whatever you call it, video series, he was a gross out artist. And so once he became really, really popular, somebody, of course, dug up old video in which like he had someone poop on him. So before he was Blippy, he was called Grossman.
He was poopy.
And, yeah, so you can imagine like being this beloved Ronald McDonald type of, kids video series actor, and then having somebody dig into your past and find a scat video. You're just like, dude, why Blippy, why?
Why did you do it, man?
Oh boy. Anyway, he seemed to have lived past that. I think that was revealed, and most people either didn't learn about it or didn't. What was that? Oh, I see. We're at the half-hour mark. All right, I'll just make it through this really quick, and then we can give away some prizes.
Okay.
So
oh,
yeah,
no, I've got to come up with a question.
have you ever been in a video where someone pooped on you?
Okay, maybe that will be the question.
I don't think. Well, I don't think you want.
Okay, I've got a question.
That's great. Hold on to it, Martin.
I will.
I'm gonna die or finish this section very shortly here, and then the way this works is Martin's gonna ask a terrible question, and you're gonna reply in chat so that Nightbot can see you. It doesn't even matter if you know the answer to the question. You just need to type something in the chat so Nightbot sees you, and then we will give away a prize. And Bob's your uncle.
All right.
What is going on in here?
Well, it is. Smash its face in.
I can't. It's not letting me use any weapons.
Oh.
It let me use a giant rabbit bomb. I don't think that's for smashing.
Not yet.
I think I'm in a kind of a maze. There we go. I found a memory.
Woo!
Oh, yay. My camera controls are totally reversed and bonkers.
Maybe the question will be a good one this time.
Nah.
Asked Wendy J.
Nah.
This time.
She knows what she's talking about.
Apparently not.
Yeah. So you have a question. I don't believe it.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't believe
okay.
it's,
It's not one of my best.
It's not.
But it's
how
okay.
many poop videos have you been in?
Oh, way to spoil it.
You're pretty predictable, Martin. Come up with another one. You still got
Alright.
time. I haven't made it through here yet.
Oh, that face keeps you from going back.
Oh, I see. It's a one-way face instead of a two-way face.
Two-faced.
Yeah, makes sense.
I guess so.
You didn't think I was going to make that, did you?
Wasn't paying attention. Didn't even know there was a platform there.
Well, that's just how good I am. I just jump into invisible platforms as if I know. I really want to be done, and then we can give away a prize. I kind of.
What are you aiming to get to before pausing?
Well, I thought there'd be some sort of like a logical, reasonable sort of.
Like that door over there. Or that fall.
It's okay. We're just gonna. There we go. So, let's hear the question, Martin. I'm sure it's terrible.
So I'll ask a question. Nightbot will listen to your answers, and then we'll roll it, and you'll win a white rabbit
I
set.
already explained that.
Only if you're on Twitch. Very sorry, YouTubers. Blame Nightbot for not being able to extract people from both locations.
All right. So what's the question?
How many videos have you been pooped? No. Talking about Blippy.
Blippy.
What's your favorite childhood TV show that you remember? I mean, like, go really
That's
far
a good-
back.
What's wrong with you today? It's a good question.
Go.
I played the game well, and you asked a decent question.
Yeah, I mean, we're going back. You try and go back to, like, 5, 6, 7 years old. I'm not talking about young teens. Like, how far back can you go and remember something good?
Right. So when I was a kid, we had Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, but we also had the local variation on that was a guy called Mr. Kangaroo. And I think that Mr. Kangaroo was relatively local to the South. I grew up in Dallas, Texas. So I wonder how many other people had Mr. Kangaroo, because I think you had to be in sort of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, like that area. But I could be wrong. What about you?
Don't know, struggling. I can remember shows from my youth like Rainbow and Play School. But I wouldn't say they were my favorites, but they are actually like quite, I'm not going to say meme worthy, but they are sort of like treasured children's TV shows in the UK. I think I remember a cartoon that had a duck called Gideon in it.
All right.
I think.
Right. Well, I'm seeing
Did
a
you
lot
mean
here.
Captain Kangaroo, not Mr.
Oh yeah,
Kangaroo?
sorry. It was Captain Kangaroo and Mr. Rogers. So
Right.
Mr. And then of course then we had Eddie Murphy did Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood on Saturday Night Live, which was fantastic. And for sure, you could not get away with doing that skit, whatever, these days. Even though he's a black comedian, he would be lambasted as being racist for Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. So if you want to laugh at something you're not supposed to laugh at these days, go check out on YouTube Eddie Murphy doing Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. It's pretty funny.
All right, I'll give it a go. There's a lot of not very old stuff here, which tells us about the age of the audience.
So Dark Elate's this Speed Racer, which I liked a lot.
Powerpuff
Sesame
Girls.
Street, yeah.
I mean, I was like 20-something when Powerpuff Girls was out.
Roger Jackson was the voice of Mojo Jojo on Powerpuff Girls, and also the voice of the Cheshire Cat. So I've been with him at a signing where there were a bunch of people coming up to get autographs related to Alice, and there were people coming up to get Mojo Jojo autographs as well. And it's funny to hear him switch back and forth between Mojo Jojo and the Cheshire Cat all in one sitting, but that's what he does.
Mojo Jojo was good.
He was.
But not my favorite villain. I liked him.
Hmm.
From the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh.
Brave Star, Xena, SpongeBob, Ruby Gloom. Never heard of that. IR Baboon. I remember that. Lots of good stuff.
All right. Well, we're going to roll it.
Memories.
And it's patient_322.
Patient322.
Wow. Been following since 2020. That means patient322 is also a 1-year follower. Amazing. Anyway, congratulations, patient322. You do win one of these fantastic white bunny sets that my wife put together. It's got like a little fluffy bunny, and it's got socks, and it's got jewelry. And if you don't want the jewelry, you could always give it away. But everybody likes
throw
socks.
it away.
Or just throw it away, sure. Just be like that. But everybody likes socks, and especially when they've got rabbits on them. So congratulations. Send an email to support. You do that part.
Support@mysterious.design. Tell us what you won. Name, address, and telephone number formatted correctly and not like a fool. Do that in the next 24 hours. Or we'll not send you your stuff and we'll laugh at you off screen. Yeah, do that.
There you go.
Yep.
Congratulations. All right, we'll do another giveaway in a half hour. In the meantime, it is time for art review. So first up, this was an image that Joey sent in. This is actually meant to illustrate a section of the game that is a kind of dungeon / fortress, I guess, and it leads up to a boss encounter, and it's kind of a funny boss encounter. And I guess this is a spoiler. Like, I feel bad giving away where this is going because it's kind of funny.
We need something up on screen. We like a little spoiler alert stamp that we can like put up there and then remove when we've stopped talking about it.
Right. Well, I don't know. I kind of feel like everybody who watches this stream knows there's spoilers going on. I also think, like, even though I'm talking about this stuff, look, by the time the game comes out, even if from right now today, like somebody wrote a check tomorrow, it would still be 2 years before the game came out. So you probably will forget that you even heard any of this stuff. I wouldn't worry about it too much. The notion here, though, is that Alice is on a quest to collect items, which is not video gamey at all. And one of the items that she's off to collect is a brain, and the brain is being held on to by this like really dark, super powerful wizard thing that lives in this underground lair, and he's using the brain in order to conjure up all of this kind of mental gymnastic enemies and bad ideas that Alice has to fight, right? So he's using the brain and the lizard part of the brain, that's important, to give Alice a hard time and to make himself super powerful. Well, the kind of joke is that once you defeated him and removed the mask, you realize that it's just little old Bill the Lizard from the original books. And so he presents himself as this sort of grandmaster wizard thing. But then eventually you realize he's just a little lizard, and you get his brain and you win. But on the way to get the brain and to confront him, you have to travel through this fortress, lair, underground thing. And we've decided to style it after what would have been like the woodshed or the workshop that Alice's dad had in wherever they lived. Did you have a workshed or a kind of a thing in ye old England?
We had a garage that was a little, just 30-second walk away from the house. We stored a bunch of nonsense in that, but it wasn't really like a tool shed or anything. It was just kind of storage for stuff that didn't have a home elsewhere.
But look, it's got a teapot. That's very British.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice looking place. It does have like a classic woodsheddy, workshopy vibe.
Yeah, it does.
I'm liking it.
It's got a jack-o'-lantern.
What else is hidden in here? Go back to the main image.
It is one of these sort of like hidden image thingies, and it's even got one of those singing bass things up there on the wall.
What does it sing?
I'm sure it sings God Save the Queen.
No, it probably sings, what was it, like More Than a Feeling or something.
You know what it sings? That Rick Astley, that song. Never gonna, whatever you.
Never gonna give you up.
I did write a note to her to say that this is probably out of time, out of place. Because there was a recent YouTube Technology Connections video where he explained the origin of these hurricane lamps. And I kind of got the sense that these came, at least these designs were patented in the US. And I don't know that they would have made it in this version to Alice's Wonderland yet, but I was laughing as I saw that. I was like, oh, I just watched a whole Technology Connection.
I know why they are designed like that.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a hot air return thing, and there's a cold blast one and a hot blast one. And anyway,
Pretty good.
I really love those videos. I don't know. I hope among our audience there are also people who enjoy the vocal stylings of Technology Connections as he describes how things work.
I like him. I like the outtakes.
Yeah,
I like
he's
the whole
great.
thing.
He's very good. She threw a bunch of other stuff in here. Something about a vampiro.
Reyes Ibiza di Vampiro.
That's head something. You know, we have to be careful. You never know what Joey might hide in here, and we could get in trouble. But she has
that?
Ingraban. Yeah.
It's like a Harry Potter spell.
It does sound like a Harry Potter spell. Anyway, she's hidden some cool stuff in here, and I like this scene in general. And yeah, this will lead into a further kind of maze and underground and the confrontation with Bill. So it's looking pretty cool. Up next. Up next. Omri sent along this long cat.
It's a very tall one. If we print this out, this is going to be very thin.
A scroll. Kind of interesting. So this was him kind of noodling on the concept of the memory mines. Now, we've been working inside the memory mines for quite a while, and of course we've talked about the notion that this is where all of Alice's experiences and memories go to be recycled, and then this then blossoms up into this kind of, I don't know if we call it a memory tree or we call it a tree of imagination. But anyway, under this tree are the minds. And so the idea we have is that as she lives her experiences, those experiences are then dropped into the minds, and then they're pulled up through the minds, and they're kind of worked on, and they're recycled, and then they eventually rise up into the soil, and they fertilize this tree of imagination. So he had done this long cat version of the mines presentation, and I think he was drawing inspiration from some kind of ye olde Victorian workhouse warehouse type of thing. So that's what this was meant to be. Now I'm not sure this was actually ye olde Victorian, but I do know, you know, when we've done research about ye olde East End of London stuff, it was a place that was like this. It was giant workhouses and tons of industry and people being worked to death, and yeah. So,
All right.
Is that what it looked like where you lived?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Are you just somewhere hiding in here? Is this like an upside down M? Were you the one that
So
bundled
like
that?
M-A, the R is on the other side of that
Yeah.
bundle.
So you would have been like the warehouse boss then.
Yeah, something like that.
You were like or maybe this is you up here, like little baby Martin.
I mean, it wasn't quite like that where I lived, but when I was growing up, like, it was quite, I'm going to say run down, but it was definitely lots of like brick, old, decrepit workhouse stuff.
The East End, you mean?
Well, no, I mean, it wasn't London.
Where you were, I see. Yeah, because London's East End now has become quite posh. If you go there now, down to the docks and the warehouses and stuff, not now. Now it's probably deserted because they're under continual lockdown. But prior to the virus apocalypse, it was a pretty posh part of town with all kinds of like boutique markets and coffee, rotisserie, whatever, roasteries. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do see in chat, we'll just answer this pretty quickly. Somebody, I'm not sure who, it might be Faye Ruler, keeps asking about Oz. We're going to talk about Oz a little later.
We are. That's the big announcement today. We were very much talking about Oz today. Did we lay out what we were gonna talk about today? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about progression on Oz and the process of raising money for Mysterious Studios. There is news around that topic, but first we're doing art review. So
Yeah.
cool your jets.
Cool your beans.
Is that what people say? Cool your jets?
Sometimes, if they're being
okay.
cool.
Yeah, we will get to Oz momentarily. We do first have some art to get through, so cool your jets. So yeah, this was the final-ish version of the Tree of Imagination, Memories Tree. I'm not sure what we want to call it. But this depicts the scene after which Alice has successfully navigated the mines, and she will pop out of that through this flower. So she sort of blossoms out of the ground into the Vale of Tears. Yeah. And we're trying to work on more kind of surreal transitions like that. You know, imagine you're playing the game and you get pulled up into the maw, the works of this recycling thing, and you think, oh no, I'm gonna die. And instead you go and you pop out the flower there.
Well, you don't even know it's you. Maybe just a little cut scene showing a flower growing, and you think, what's happening now in this field?
Yeah.
And then it opens. Oh,
there you go.
There I am.
So that's looking pretty good. I like this a lot. Now, this was a combination of a foundation of sketch work and I think initial coloring by Joey. Then Omri went in there and gave it a bit more detail. And that's a process that's pretty common between the artists. They kind of work back and forth and they riff off of each other's designs. And then the result of all that is always very cool. So I like all the little drink me bottles and the little house memories and all the... There's a lot of drink me.
They all say drink me.
It seems like
how am I supposed to know what's in?
I think this is like the tree of an alcoholic or something. What's wrong with you, Alice?
Yeah, which one's got gin?
She's got drink me on the brain, apparently. And houses. She's so basically looking at this.
So she's basically like an alcoholic realtor.
Well, but also with all the needles. So I'm kind of thinking if we were Sigmund Freud, but then there's just a kind of like random ballpoint pen out of nowhere.
Yeah, why not?
I'm not sure.
Why not?
I get the mirrors and the teapots, but that is an awful lot of drink me's and a lot of houses. What's with all the houses?
You know, little girls like dolls' houses, apparently. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm kidding. There are going to be some connections to this we have talked about, and I'll get to that image right now. There are a couple ideas that we're playing with right now having to do with shrinking the memories and shrinking Alice. There's some sketches being done where you'll see Alice shrinks down to enter into like the exterior of the fortress. So this is going to be the Temple of Bill, what we were talking about before, where she has to go in order to go digging through the caverns and the workshops and all that stuff to have the confrontation with Bill. Something like this little house is going to be sat at in the Vale of Tears, and you can see, as indicated by the little keyhole here, that this is a small place, right? So
seems it.
Yeah. So we've been talking more and more about sort of utilizing the keyhole shrink type of stuff, but on a much more dynamic level, and where you would actually play through the game with scale shifting more constantly as you move between scenes. And so one of the things that Omri had come up with, which I liked a lot, was this notion that as you are traveling up through the works of the memory mines, you find memories that are clogged. So you can see here, like there's this house. Now, I'm not sure if he meant that Alice is dragging this house along with her. It does look like it's tied to the rope.
She stood on the house being hoisted up.
Exactly. So she's riding the house up through the mines. And so what we had discussed, what Omri came up with, was this thing which it's funny to see our artists use such basic representations. I swear I didn't draw this. Omri drew this. But this is a memory that has gotten clogged in the arteries of the memory mine because it's too big to shove through. So what he's suggesting is that in order for her to get that house through, she has to progressively shrink it. And I think that what he had written over on Monday was something along the lines of you go into the memory to help resolve some of the issues or just absorb it, and then that helps to shrink it, and then it moves up through sort of the arteries of the memory tree.
Sounds good. I like it.
I'm just reading some of the comments there. Someone's decided to type in the lyrics to "Burning Down the House" by the Talking Heads. All right.
Wonder why. Anything else? So Alice gets to kill Bill.
Right. Just like in a Tarantino movie, you get to kill Bill. There you go. Yeah. Now, speaking of killing people, we showed this on the last live stream, didn't we?
Maybe a previous version, perhaps?
Maybe not this version.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was her Kill Bill moment, which was pushing Bumby in front of a tree. Now, I know that the geometry and physics of this doesn't work.
Yeah, she's going to fall in front of the train.
A lot of people... a lot of people commented like, that's not right, she's also going to fall in front of the train. And then I just want to be like, come on, it's fantasy. I mean, there is a giant skull hiding in the smoke there.
She'll just do a Neo backflip off the tracks before it gets there.
Yeah, that's how it worked in the original game. You just kind of backflipped off the train and you were all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if we showed this last time around. This was another image by Adam. This was another of the potential recovered memories that you would find down in the memory mines. And this was a variation on another one he did where there was a street scene from London kind of above where this action was taking place.
That's what Arta Zero just said. There were people looking in the previous version. So yes, we kind of showed this last time.
Okay, but we didn't show this colored version of the...
I believe so.
I think we did. Anyway, this one turned out really cool. And yeah, there's a little bit of creative license in there to get him in front of the train. And I mean, let's give her a little bit of leeway for... She's, murdering her arch nemesis. And she looks pretty bothered by the whole thing.
She does. She's murderous in those eyes.
She's even got, like, claw hands. Yeah, so this turned out great. I think this is a pretty cool, and this could even be one of our posters.
Could be. I did see Omri emailed last night with more print ideas.
Yeah.
So I'll check that email out today. Future Patreon post where we need to choose the next 6 prints for the rest of the year.
Right.
So yeah, that'll be coming soon.
Cool.
Patrons, if you're listening.
So speaking of the black and white sketches before they get colored in, yeah, this was some of the variations that Adam had come up with for the entrance to Bill's Temple of Doom.
The Temple O Snakes.
And yeah, so this one's got the snake motif pretty heavily incorporated into the what is that, like gargoyles? Statues? I don't know.
Sconce.
Statues. Snake jazz. It'd be funny if when you go in there it starts playing snake jazz. So I don't know, we always kind of go through this team commenting selection process. I'm kind of blasé about it because I'm always really impressed with all of the images that get produced. So the team, I think, kind of settled on this one, D, which is what you see in the image I showed a minute ago. Is that right? Yeah. This one's pretty cool. I feel like it could be a bit more snaky. Like there's a snake on the roof. But I feel like there needs to be a bit more snaky business going on here.
Probably.
Yeah.
Is that it? Just those 2 things?
Kind of looks like it. It doesn't really feel quite as Temple of Doomy as I mean, these look much more like scary coming up to this. There's big old snakes, and even this. Yeah, this one needs a bit more snakified.
I think so.
What I do like about this is that it's doing the whole broken islands floating in space motif, but in the final colored version of it, that's kind of not brought across strongly enough. You can see the base of this here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, scratch it. Start again.
Well, a lot of times we do end up with 2 versions of this. So we'll see. We'll see if we get another version of this drawn and colored or not. What else have we got in this folder for today?
Drink me again.
So this was continuing on what we were talking about before, where you have to shrink in order to climb up through the memories, and then you get into the memories, and then you deal with them in order to shrink them, and then you come back out. So this was sort of meant to represent arterial clogging within the memory pathways for Alice. So yeah, this was Omri kind of smashing some stuff together. He seems to have a fairly good collection of dollhouse type things to smash together, or he's just really fast at drawing these. Either way, it's an impressive collection and a lot of drink me going on.
Yeah.
Mommy! Why? Why did you discard me? Oh no, there's a spider on my head. Is that a spider or somebody's eyeball?
I thought it was a rabbit face, but maybe...
I don't know, but I just want to say that you can make anything dark by taking a doll head and streaking some black down its face.
Maybe it is a spider. There's another one right there.
It looks like a spider. I mean, what's worse than being a discarded doll head with black streaks for tears and a spider on your head?
I can't think of anything.
It's pretty much like the gothiest goth you can get. What? Who is that?
Who's that?
What's going on there? Is that Boy George? What's Boy George doing?
No, it's tilt your head to the right. It's Tom Baker as Doctor Who.
Oh, it is Tom Baker. What are you doing in there, Tom Baker? Look at that silhouette of that hair. You're right. That is totally Tom Baker. Anyway, Omri. You can tell he's been drinking a lot. Yeah, so this is some of the notes on that image that was done by Adam for the entrance to the Snake Temple.
Does that say Pretty Veil?
Pretty Veil. So he's basically commenting that there should be sort of this thing floating in the clouds, and then there should be some of the veil behind.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is Shadow Alice. There's been a lot of back and forth. Alex did up a tremendous amount of artwork related to us trying to determine what Shadow Alice would look like. And so I'm going to see if I can find this. Now, the last live stream, I kind of jokingly suggested that I didn't know how to navigate Monday, which I feel like a lot of people don't understand. When I express my incompetence, it's often part of the shtick of the show, because it allows me something to fill in talking while I'm just navigating.
Right.
If I were to just navigate, then it would be really boring because I wouldn't have anything to say. And I can't sit here telling you how awesome I am. I mean, I could. But instead, what I try to do is I try to joke and make fun of myself for not being able to navigate. Now, the problem is some people hear that and they think, wow, he must really suck. And I mean, maybe I do, but it's not true. I'm just slow. I'm navigating. I'll find it. Don't worry.
But I genuinely don't like Monday's interface.
Don't say that.
I don't use it much. I just use the little search
You're not allowed.
magnifying glass because I just use it to look for
You're not allowed to say that.
for pictures.
Not allowed to say
So
that.
it's fine.
Not allowed to say that. Okay, so what we're looking for here is Shadow Alice. And because Shadow Alice, that's the piece of art we were looking at there. So Shadow Alice is the antagonist that chases Child Alice through the Alice Asylum adventure. And it's important that we define what she looks like, because we will see her from the start of the game all the way to the end of the game. And that she also needs to kind of change to reflect Child Alice's view of her as her view is updated. So basically, like, Child Alice is reliving a lot of the experiences that adult Alice had that more or less turned her into Shadow Alice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so by reliving the experiences, Child Alice gets to learn more about why Shadow Alice is and who she is and why she feels the way she does. So that by the end of all of this, she gets her so she's not as scary. So you can imagine that early in the game, Child Alice's view of Shadow Alice very early on is going to be this, like, holy crap, what the hell are you?
Closer, go closer.
And she almost shouldn't recognize this as being herself. She should just think of this as some horrible, terrible, scary thing, right?
Right.
That's the trinity of Alice's, by the way. That's the shadow, that's the adult, that's the child. Now, by the end of the game, once Child Alice has gained some degree of perspective on the shadow and who she is and why she is, she'll be a bit more acceptable. She won't be quite so
Okay.
freakish and scary, right?
Yeah.
But early on, she's like, ah! Now,
it's a bit scary, but I'm also thinking, is it a bit much?
oh, get out.
I don't mean it's too scary. I don't know. It's hard to say. I still think I prefer the tall, gangly one
Right,
over this.
right.
I don't know. There's something about this one. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, anyway, so here's the thing. There was some work done on Shadow Alice, and Alex did up these kind of like progression images and even did a bit of an animation around it. And so I was thinking I could try to show that off. And listen, I really love Monday, and I'm just pretending to struggle here.
I can tell.
But but I'm just not. I know it's in here somewhere, and I know that Alex sent me this big long how-to thing that told me, and now he's gonna watch this and he's gonna be like, "Why? Why didn't you?"
Should have read my epic email.
You should have read my 50-page email. Why didn't you read my email?
You do that. I'll have a look at chat.
Please.
Caitlin Bishop doesn't look that scary to me for Shadow Alice.
Oh, get out. She's super scary. When she
Scary
comes
in real
and
life,
stabs you in
surely.
the face, you'll be scared.
Who was in chat trying to help?
Is somebody
Alex in the chat trying to help?
Probably. He probably is. He's like, God, full bottle.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go ham. Uh-oh.
Stream has disconnected,
Well, there you go.
but we're still recording, I guess.
We are recording, so I'm gonna kill this, and I'm gonna connect to Korea.
VPN for those who are watching. I mean, maybe nobody's watching because YouTube's going to be.
YouTube is not watching, but it is
Yeah.
recording for those of the people out there who are lucky enough to watch this.
If we upload it.
We will upload it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's give this a
Is it
moment.
working?
Well, no, it takes a minute.
But there's nothing even okay.
It takes a minute.
All right, I'll trust you for it. So anyway, for those of you who are on YouTube watching this because we recorded it later, or we recorded it now and uploaded it later, smash like to help the stream come back to life. That would be great.
Yes, retroactively through time.
It's how it works. The like button on YouTube retroactively through the magic of time,
It does.
time power, and Susan, it goes back in time and it does stuff. I don't think this is doesn't really like it's working. Oh, it's starting. It says starting.
It's trying.
Starting. It's coming back up. Streamlabs. Come on, internet.
Yeah, why doesn't it connect faster?
Who knows?
I mean, the internet is clearly working.
Is it?
You know,
What if our internet just ran out of internet credits?
it didn't.
They could have. I'm not getting any.
Maybe don't use that server.
Okay. Bye bye, Korea 1. Let's try. You want to go to
Let's
Manchester?
go to Manchester.
I know where you want to go. All right. So yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is what happens when the VPN properly dies. There we go.
There we
We're
go.
back up there
Well,
now.
internet's
waiting.
definitely working.
Just waiting for the stream. There it goes. It's picked back up again. Yay!
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 Yes, we now have the purple line on the internet-ometer.
Great.
Hi!
The Twitch chat doesn't want to let us. There we go. I see chat appearing again now. That's sad. We were about to do the prize thing as well. It's not letting me switch back and forth between Twitch and
Oh,
multi-stream.
jeez.
But it seems. There we go.
Refresh chat in the top right.
We can try. It's none of this is working here.
Oh, jeez, Ray.
This whole panel seems to be dead. Now I can't bring that panel back.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh. Streamlabs seems to be like kind of barely limping along on a single leg.
Minimize it and then maximize it.
What if it never comes back? Doot doot.
Yeah, Streamlabs has thrown a wobbly.
All right. Well, Had to refresh. Woohoo. Okay, well, it seems like we're back.
Yeah.
We do want to say that our Streamlabs interface here has basically... Oh, I can't even switch between windows now. So
Great.
now what do you want to do? We're just stuck on this view.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh. That's a complete death of Streamlabs. If you can still see us, and I think you can, but you have to understand that our whole Streamlabs window over here has turned into a big black square.
It is just black now.
Okay, there's something.
Oh, I thought this is...
It's looking... Hey, it's come back. Yay! Okay, we're back.
Oof.
All right.
Professionals here.
All right, we're back. They say they can hear us. We can hear you. We can see you. It's showing Alice now. Okay, great. It's back to life.
Right, let's continue as if nothing happened.
Well, anyway, I was going to dig around and try to find this Alice progression thing that Alex did, but I have spent a bit of time here in Monday. I did some searching in various search bars. It's not working. Alex, please don't send me a big long email about this. I'm sorry.
He's telling us the location.
Oh, there you go.
Supporting cast, blah, blah, blah.
See supporting cast. Why is that at supporting cast? Isn't Alice like the cast? Supporting cast. Oh, there we go.
Art
Lizzie.
assets, Shadow Alice.
All right, Shadow Alice. Queen of Hearts, Mad Hatter. This would be a lot easier if we didn't have so much content to sort through.
Yeah, artists, stop arting.
Yeah, Alex, stop setting up hugely complicated projects that contain thousands of individual elements. Hey, there we go. Okay, we found it. Yay! So this is what I wanted to show everybody there was quite a lot of thought that went into this. There's a lot of back and forth of trying to figure out how to represent Shadow Alice. There were some callbacks to original art that was done by Omri. There was stuff that was done by Joey, like this one.
I like that one.
I really like this one too. Problem is, this Shadow Alice is done up looking like a child. And in the game, in the story, she's not a child. Shadow Alice is the adult. Joey also did this burnt face.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's what you really call going ham, because she's got like burnt ham face. There was this one that Omri did. That is, uh-oh. Hold on. Close the door there. The child has returned. He's upstairs going, da, da.
Pee.
He's very proud of his ability to pee on his own now.
Me too.
So these all got done. They were really cool. And then Alex said, hey, team, we need to create a consistent look and feel for Alice as you progress through the game. And he did some variations, starting kind of from where Omri had been on what we called the harvest dress, and then just smoking crack. He smoked crack on Alice until she turned into this thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then we had a bunch of back and forth, and Omri jumped in there with the image that we just had on screen, which is this one. And he said that he likes the idea of having it, based on the harvest dress, but also being closer to the interpretation he had put into this original sort of Trinity version of Alice.
Okay.
I hope you're keeping an eye on the chat. I kind of feel
Little
like you're
bit.
not. Something tells me you're not really.
Little
Because you're
bit.
staring at my side of the screen just a bit too much. See,
Just
you're
so
one of the
interesting.
chefs in the kitchen. You're not supposed to be paying attention to how I'm mixing the batter. You're supposed to be keeping an eye on the customers.
Oh, but now there's a new picture I
You
haven't
can
seen.
look at it over there,
Tiny.
next to the chat.
Tiny.
Terrible assistant. Okay, so Alex had also done up this, I think, in response to the questions and the comments from Omri, and had kind of got another progression going. And so there was a lot of good back and forth. And he'd also mentioned something important, which was trying to make it so people out there who want to do costumes around this dress can do that. Now, I don't know, I mean, other than setting yourself on fire, how you would pull this off, the really smoky one.
Mm-hmm.
But he had said, that maybe for the less smoky one, you could have sort of like an LED heart. And there's some cool concepts contained in here. I have to say, I don't know if this whole idea of who she is you know, we may not be completely finished with it yet, the conversation. But at the same time, I added a note at the end of this that one of the things that I like about Omri's presentation for the progression is that the silhouette of the character remains the same from the start, the first time you see her, until the end, and that the transformation primarily focuses on the face. So it's like she's wearing a mask and the mask slowly comes off. There are a lot of elements to that line up with how, you know, when you're suffering through PTSD and the symptoms are sort of masking the reality of how to get through it, that are important to me. And I think that, plus the fact that when you play through the game, I want to make sure that people recognize the connection between the thing that was at the start of the game and the thing that's at the very end of the game. And I may be overthinking that a bit, but that's sort of where the logic for that ended up.
Octo Greg said that they would like to see a new version of the Ash dress Alice, but as an adult with the old cracked porcelain face.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot. I think that was a really cool.
I would also like to see that.
Yeah. So like I said, I think this is one of those, there are some instances as we've worked through the design, and especially in the really important aspects of the design for the game, where for the sake of getting things done and moving forward, we kind of have to put a pin in something. But at the same time, we have to recognize that we may not have landed on the final perfect solution for this. I think in many cases, especially when it comes to something highly visual like this, it really requires the development team to be sat down with the engine and working with the shaders and the effects and all that kind of stuff, and let them take the bulk of all the stuff and all the ideas that have been generated here and smush those into the engine and do something that really only ultimately can be produced in engine. And it's not going to be something that's terribly easy to capture on paper, you know, or at least in a 2D image. Even when, you know, Alex goes and does really cool animations like this, which try to bridge that gap, you still really need to see this stuff in the engine before we can make a final determination about what this looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arta Zero liking the rusted Vorpal blade. It is pretty good.
I like
black
that
and
blade
red.
a lot.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's turned out really cool.
Yes, Logan Good has had many people answering that this will indeed be a prequel, not just to Madness Returns, but also the original.
That's right.
So, yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. We missed prize time, as Desert Phoenix pointed out there in the chat. So we need to do that right now. I hope you have a question ready. I have one.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. My question is,
how many videos have you been pooped on in?
No.
Okay.
Well, me, only one, but it's never been published to the internet. So my question was, what did you do when the live stream went down? I'm just curious. Did people like smash their keyboard, or did you just look at your phone, or did you start to tune into something else and then realize that maybe we were going to come back?
Good question. What do people do? They probably just click refresh a lot.
Maybe. So what we're doing over here is frantically trying to figure out which server to connect to in order to get back on the internet. And meanwhile, we have to continue the banter because this is being recorded and we will upload it to YouTube later. So during that period where you can't see us, we can't sit here and just curse and like...
We still have to remember not to be talking smack and stuff.
Yeah. So, Scarlet Ton was doing my eyeliner.
Oh. Scary 151 just thought it was their internet. No, it's usually us. Just hit the F button, says Pastel Witch. Talk to chat, says Desert Phoenix.
Obsessively refreshed YouTube and Twitch. Octo Chicken, I just assumed it will be back. 3 years of tech issues assure you it'll return. I think there's only been once where it died and we just gave up.
I was going to say, to my mind, only one time has it super died permanently.
And that was when we were using that weird VPN box, which we didn't have a lot of control over.
Right.
Yeah. So usually when we're using this software VPN Astral, we can just poke around and try to find an alternate server until something works. And we're now connected to Twitch via the UK.
Yeah.
Bloody good, mate.
Well, it's not real. We're connected to Manchester. That wasn't really a Manchester, but good try.
All right, here we go. We're going to roll it in 3, 2. Nightbot is broken.
Oh, jeez.
Well, everybody's got to continue talking in the chat now until Nightbot
You sure you
catches up.
don't want me to blind point?
That's rude. It's too late. They already know that Nightbot is broken. So anyway, do the thing in the chat for a moment here until we get some eligible users, and then I will roll it. It's filling up quickly now. There we go.
It is. Look at it go.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll it. 3, 2, 1. It's Steffi Louise.
Woo.
Congratulations, Steffi Louise. You have just won yourself. What has Steffi Louise won? Where is that thing? It's a white bunny set that my wife put together. And it contains jewelry and a little plush toy and socks.
What more could you want?
I mean, I feel like once you have this in your possession, you basically don't need anything else in life.
You've won life.
You have.
You don't need to play anymore.
Nope. You can just stay in bed all day and wear these socks and put the earrings on and cuddle your little rabbit and you're finished. It's all good. You'll
Job done.
starve to death, but you'll be happy while you do it. So anyway, send an email to support@mysterious.design. Include your name, your mailing address, your phone number. Do all that stuff in a human readable, legible format, all within 24 hours. And I think that's about it. We'll send you your stuff.
Their first stream as well.
Oh, congratulations.
Imagine that.
That's good. All right, let's quickly finish up art review because we do need to get on to the conversation about the studio stuff. So, what else was in this folder? Shadow Alice was in there. This is Mad Hatter's Workshop. Now, did we show this on the last stream?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, well, this is Mad Hatter's Workshop. After Alice exits the Snow Globe Wonderland and enters into Shadow Alice's Umbraland. And this is showing the distortion and the tentacles and the blackness of what happens to places that you would be familiar with from the first and second game. And of course, this workshop was featured in the first game, kind of in this format, but there's elements of this you also saw in the second game. But yeah, this is Umbraland Hatter's Workshop.
What's scrawled on the wall there in blood? Just your what?
Your it could be your next or you are. Oh no, it wouldn't be your next. It would be you are. I don't know. What do you just meaning?
Could be anything.
It could be. All right. This is more of the same. Now, I love this image as sort of rough, sketchy, and incomplete as it is. There's a lot going on in this, and this mirrors some of what I want to do when Alice is still inside the snow globe. She's going to see a scene that's kind of reminiscent of this, where you got the Inception-like London, which is it's upside down plus right side up, and as you navigate it, you're going to swap between the two. I'm
have an Inception. Blah.
Yeah. So there'll be bits of the city like that, and then you can jump up to this part, and the whole thing will flip around.
I hope the chimneys line up so the smoke's coming out of one and into
Goes
the
into
other.
the other. That would be kind of cool.
Pretty cool. And if you flip around, it reverses. I don't know.
Well, so this though is going to be in Umbraland. So this is when you go to revisit some of the stuff you saw of London from Madness Returns. And yeah, I'm in love with this. I think this is super cool. It's got the little black hole portals, and it's got the upside down, right side up mishmash of the city architecture. So I can't wait until we see this actually done in engine. And then again, like I said, there's going to be a section still in Snow Globe Wonderland where she goes to meet the carpenter, and there's going to be this upside down, right side up stuff with London as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing artwork on that, and also seeing that in the game.
Yes.
Does that look like home? Is that where you came from? Were you like living right next to that hole right there?
Right next to it.
Right on the rooftop. There's Martin.
Hello.
There's your little face.
Go blimey, governor.
Oh, blimey.
What's going on in that hole?
Oh, I'm watching the footy on the telly. So this is I think this was a variation on the concept of entering into a memory. I'm pretty sure it is called memory single as the file name. So
Memory single.
yeah, so I
Right.
think the idea here was that in order to get into the memory, you do have to shrink down and you go into the little house and then you're able to explore the memory that's contained within. So that was a piece, I think, from Omri who did that.
Okay.
This was more of that long cat memory mine stuff. This is, again, from Omri, just a rough sketch of a scene from Madness Returns, which was the Queen's Castle, where we were just running around, but again, having been infected by Umberland and Shadow Alice. And so, again, revisit places you've seen before, but have them be all twisted and messed up.
Fair enough.
And that may be it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Let's do a quick...
You keep your
Doodad.
eyes on the chat there, Martin.
I can
Keep your
my
hands
eye
on the wheel.
chat.
I don't know about that.
I can't wait to play this, says Angie Soup. How does this game not have a bigger following?
All right.
Well, you know, we've often pondered, you know, there's probably a massive audience for most things out there in the world. It's just reaching them.
I sometimes wonder the same. I've mentioned this before. What's a little frustrating to me is that if I've got something like 30,000 followers or something on Twitter, but if I tweet a piece of Alice related artwork that Omri or Alex or Joey has done, I might get like 150 likes on it. But then I'll see somebody that has 3,000 followers, so a tenth of my followers, will retweet or tweet the same image and they'll get like 2,000 likes on that image. And I think, what's going on? Like, what's wrong with my followers and or what's wrong with my reach? Like, is my Twitter somehow? And the same thing is true on Facebook. The same. Maybe people just, the discovery isn't working very well. I'm not sure, and I'm not trying to complain about it. I've always just figured it's just the way of the world, and eventually we'll get whatever recognition we are due. But yeah, it's a little strange.
It is.
Now, this brings me to the next segment, and it's actually a pretty good segue because for those of you who've been following along, I just realized I butchered one of Alex's images. He's gonna be sad. He's watching right now. So this brings me to an announcement. We're gonna snip this out of the video, so I need to try to get this out in one blurb.
Okay. Professional mode.
Blimey, governor! There's a footy on the telly. All right, we're gonna snip that out. So for those of you who have been following along, you know that we've been building a design Bible. We've been building up concepts around this thing called Oz Adventures. We've presented materials related to the presentation that we've been putting in front of a unnamed Chinese studio that we refer to jokingly as Redacted. Conversations with Redacted continue to this day, and we've also recently brought on board a person by the name of Mark who is responsible for, he's going to be the eventual CTO of the organization that we're trying to build, but he's also acting now as a financial advisor and helping to craft and shape the presentation that's going out to Redacted, but also to now a number of potential investors, some of them quite large, and also other media companies who are interested in joining in on the adventure of building a studio, getting the investment in and making these projects come to life. So after all of this time of us working on all this stuff, there is some pretty significant movement happening, which is really happy for me to announce and to be a part of. We're having now weekly meetings where we update and talk with one another about potential investors, about potential production partners for film and television and for games. And we also talk about the ongoing meetings and conversations we're having with Redacted. I've said before, we don't really want to name Redacted, but it probably isn't too hard to guess. They're one of the largest Chinese game publishers, or just game publishers in the world. They happen to be Chinese because we're in China, but it's not Tencent. So it narrows the list down. Have fun trying to guess. It's not that hard. At some point we will announce that. But what we're doing right now today is moving the ball forward, to use your soccer-y analogies.
All right.
And what we're looking for is potential partners for the development process. That would be if you are out there and you are either a small existing developer, or you could be a shop that specializes in, say, code, or animation or in art asset production, we want to add your name to the model that we're building. One of the things that we're doing, and it's actually a positive that's come out of some of the stuff that we've seen during the epidemic, is that more and more publishers and financiers are accepting the notion of remote work, and also something that you could refer to as sort of like the hub and spoke model of development. Now, we used hub and spoke on Madness Returns. That was, we had a core team in Shanghai who were supported by voice actors in the UK, or by art asset production teams in Thailand, or, you know, a number of different teams globally who came together over the internet and worked together on the project. Well, right now, what we're searching for are those teams who would like to have their names added to the list of potential collaborators that we would work with. Those of you that have been following along know we have a core team. That core team is probably 15. How many people do we have? We've got quite a few. 15, 20 people. That's what's on the page here right now. We have that core team. The core team includes people like myself and Martin. We have artists, we have game designers, we have financial advisors, tech advisors, and there's a bunch more that aren't even included in this. But again, if you are an existing developer or game developer, or if you're an existing art production person, teams especially, we want to hear from you. Now, the caveat: if you are a VO recording, VO actor type person, now is not the time. I'm sorry. We don't need to hear from VO people right now. We don't need to hear from musicians right now. We don't need to hear from individual artists who are interested in joining the team. Now, there's exceptions. If you've got a crazy good portfolio of animation, or you are an effects artist who works inside of Unreal, then we're interested in that. If you're a technical person with a good portfolio who could be a part of a team, we're interested in hearing from you, especially if you have experience working inside of Unreal. But if you're just an individual person who wants to contribute, say, voiceover or music, this is not the time to respond to the call. So this is about us building out who our initial team would be. And so if you think you've got something to add to that, please get in touch with us. Here's the part where I show you the email that you can write to, and it's also the part where Alex will cringe. I added it to the bottom of your image there, Alex. I'm sorry, I should have told you about it before, but the email address didn't exist until this morning, so I didn't know to tell you that. I don't have a time machine. So if you qualify based on everything that I just said, please reach out to adventure@mysterious.design. Be sure to include some description of who and what you are, and if you have it, a portfolio or a website that shows us what your team is capable of past work or current projects. All of that would be incredibly useful. And this open call is going to be in place for probably the next 2 weeks, and then after that, it's going to kind of close up, because we are on a timeline to present what we're putting together here to those investors and to Redacted. And we do have most of this team already put together. We already have potential studios we can work with that have signed on. We already have the existing team, but I just want to make sure that if there's a group of people out there who are floating around, they may be thinking of leaving a big existing team, or they may have just recently been laid off from a big publisher and they're looking for a project. We want to reach out to those people and say, we are building something. If you want to work on projects like Oz Adventures, if you want to work on projects like potentially Alice Asylum, depending on what goes on with EA, if you want to work on things like Scruffy Bumps, it looks like we may be turning that into a game. This would be your chance to join on and let us know. So there you go.
There you go.
That's going to be what I clip out and we post up to YouTube.
Professional mode ended.
G'day, governor! There's a funny on the
bogies! Poo! Wee wee!
All right. So yeah, that's it. That's the big news for today, and it's all good. I'm really excited about this. I'm really happy we have Mark on board. He's now handling. He's listed here in the presentation.
Well, there's Adam's name, Narazanski.
That is Adam's name,
Yeah.
Narazanski. Yes. Try to say Alexander's last name, Kutuzov.
Kutsov.
Anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's the big news. There is great progress being made. Again, a lot of that progress is being driven by Mark. Mark is on board these days to help shape the strategy that we use going forward to get money to build the studio. And he's a really smart guy about this type of stuff. He's done this many times in the past. He's probably watching this live stream, so I'll say he's also incredibly handsome and charming.
Ooh, that's what I've heard.
Yes. Which you do need to be if you're going to go out and ask people for tens of millions of dollars.
Okay.
So yes, we have all of that in place. And that is for those of you who are asking for an update on Oz. That is the update on Oz. There's some good stuff going on right now.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent stuff. All movement is good movement, I guess.
I think so. Lucky Dragon says the only way to get into the industry is be in the industry. At least that's how it usually is these days. Hey, Lucky Dragon, that's not right. If you would please look to Alice Madness Returns as an example. The art director on that project started off not in the industry. I hired him literally off the street as a concept artist who had produced artwork as a fan for some of my previous projects, and I gave him a chance as a person with no record, no job history at all. Ken Wong is his name, and he's now gone on to start his own studio and launch his own independent games that have done incredibly very, very well. And you didn't have to be in the industry for him, or he didn't have to be in the industry to get a job. I could, by the way, go down a list of like a dozen names in that fashion where I've hired people who did not have a portfolio, but that is not what we're looking for right now. That's why I'm trying to stress that. Right now, we are trying to look for established teams to build the core of what this thing would be. And then later on, we will have the opportunity to say to people who maybe weren't inside the industry or who have sent in like a really cool portfolio or something that, hey, now we've built the core thing, please come and join us. The reason why that's important right now is because we're going out and talking to investors. And investors generally don't want to hear, hey, we've got a scrappy bunch of people who've never made a game before who, yay,
Give us millions of dollars.
investors don't react to that very positively. So for right now, what we are trying to build is the compelling core team that an investor would then say, oh yeah, hey, there's $30 million, go have fun. So there you go.
All right.
Any questions or anything that popped up in the chat there?
Alpha 1412 has asked this a couple of times. Have either of us had an Alice dream? I
No,
haven't.
can't
But I
say.
do sometimes dream of the video game that I'm currently playing if I've put like a ton of hours into it, like just before bed sometimes.
Right.
So I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that I could have one
Right.
if I was to ever play Madness Returns. But no, not as of yet.
I've never had one before either, so.
No.
So I saw Patient 322 says, I have no idea how to get into the industry. It just seems like you have to know someone in the industry. Look, I got into the industry because I was a neighbor to John Carmack. I mean, my knowing him wasn't because of the industry. It was because I happened to live in the same apartment complex as him. That was that simple. Jennifer, who's on our team now, got onto our team simply because we followed each other on Twitter, and I liked the art that she did. And one day I asked her to do some art, and it turned out that we got along creatively, and boom, now she's on the team. So I don't think that there's necessarily like one path into the games industry. I think anybody can basically pick up a game engine and prove themselves to be a game creator with no money, and it's just an investment of time and learning. Like Unreal is free, Unity I think is free, and there's a bazillions of content, videos on YouTube and places like that on how to learn those engines and then how to turn those engines into games. There's no barrier to entry for somebody who has the time and the inclination to prove that they can use those engines to build games. None, other than your time and your inclination. And, for people who are serious about it, they'll do that stuff at night. They'll do it on the weekends. They'll do it every chance they get until they build something that convinces someone else that, hey, I've got the skills to make this work. So I think you'd be surprised how many stories there are of people who find their way into the industry simply by pulling themselves up into the industry.
So there you go. If you want to get into the industry, go and live next door to John Carmack. That's what you should take away from that.
I think he's probably surrounded by armed guards living next door to Mark Zuckerberg at this point. But yeah.
Maybe.
All right. So that brings us to another prize time. So we're going to give away another White Bunny set. Now, I have a question.
Oh, I have a question.
No, I have a question.
But mine is leading
What are you
in.
just going to talk over me and I can't?
Yeah, but mine is what you were just talking about,
Oh,
so it's
boy.
more relevant.
Go for it.
It's not really a question, though.
There's footy on the telly.
Yeah. Talking about engines, it would be good if that scene in Alice was rendered. Would be nice to see it. And we talk about, Unreal is free, Unity. I saw a video on YouTube, if you follow the Game Ranks channel, yesterday. They had like the top 20 user-created Unreal 5 demos.
Right.
Jesus Christ, that engine.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what it can
I mean,
do.
not just the fact that what's the two things it's got? Not Lumen, the other one, Nanite.
Right.
The fact that it's like reduces the pixel count the further and
Yeah.
further away. They had like this guy put like 2.5 million beef burgers on screen on a crappy graphics card, and it didn't chug
Yeah,
just because of how it was processing the distance.
that's right.
And some of the internal housing things, just the interiors.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
If somebody didn't tell you, I'd say that was a photo
Yeah,
or it was a video.
So game development over the years as a function of the improvement of the game engines has become easier in the sense that you can get more pixels on screen more beautifully than ever before, with all kinds of crazy camera controls and built-in animation systems and particle systems and all that. The engines themselves have become so complicated that you have to have specialists that are good at very specific aspects of the engine, like one person who's really good at particle effects and one who's very good at lighting. That means that the size of these teams has ballooned up, where like when I started, there were only 8 people working at id when we made Doom 2 and Quake 2. Like 8 people on the total team. There was 2 programmers and 2 level designers and 3 artists, and that was all it took. Nowadays, you're talking about teams that easily reach into the 200 and 300 persons, and that's because of all the assets that have to be done, and then also because of all of the technical aspects of what you can do inside of the engine. So the engines themselves are really amazing, but when you go to sit down and study, like, what part of this am I going to play a role in, a lot of times you do have to decide on a discipline. Like, I'm going to be a scene lighting guy, or I'm going to be a particle effects girl, or I'm going to be level asset placement dolphin. I mean, whatever you want to identify as, but it does become quite specialized.
Yeah. MP Sinclair quite hilariously said that those demos are unreal. Good one. Good one. But
right.
Check it out a bit later if you've got time. It's astonishing just what probably not normal bog standard folks at home. I mean, these people have got some skills, I imagine.
Right.
But yeah, what it can do is bonkers.
Just really quickly, we do need to get to the prize, but I do see that Pitchiga01 keeps repeating the same question over and over. How can I be a part of the project without giving money on your websites? Because my parents don't want me to do stuff like that. Look, we are on all kinds of social media, Facebook, Instagram, here on Twitch. You can write comments over here on Twitch. You can write comments, I think, on Patreon. Do you have to be a patron to write comments?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure how you'd write comments there, but you can certainly write comments on Instagram, on Facebook, and places like that. And we do read the comments on those places, and we'll get to it in a moment. But every once in a while, the comments in the crowd design stuff that we do in places like that, those comments do make it into the products. So pretty
Plus,
easy.
you're part of it now.
There you go.
Just engaging, and you see people talking in chat. We answer it and whatnot. So there are ways if your parents don't want you to spend money on strangers.
Stranger danger. All right. Let's do the question. So what?
I thought that was mine. I said it wasn't really a question. It was more of a discussion. A lot of people said stuff during that couple of minutes.
That's not how it works. You have to ask a question that they...
I don't remember
That's the
seeing
worst.
the rules
That's the
for
worst.
this part of the show.
It's the worst question ever.
It's not a question, so it doesn't fall into that category. Go on then, if it has to be a question.
I would like to know, amongst our viewers, which category you fall into. Are you currently a game developer? Would you like to be a game developer? Or you've never really given it any thought? I think that's 3 categories. So just...
Scene lighting dolphin. for me.
I would like to be a scene lighting dolphin as well. So anyway, yeah, just type into the chat there so Nightbot sees you that, yes, I'm part of the development industry or the games industry or something like that. Or I would like to be, or I don't really care. That's cool. I'm an architect, but I'd like to learn game design. There you go, says Young12.
Samfire Wolf doesn't have the patience for it.
I would like to draw dumb pics, says Clown Cadaver. Your name wouldn't have given that away at all.
Nicholas Brokaw is a developer.
Wow.
Just not on games.
Oh, well, there you go. Property developer? Prison developer. Hard to say. Darkalade. I would like to be a game developer. Love making textures for 3D models, people, weapons, you name it. I love it scrolled off the screen. I tried. I swear I did. Wendy says, I would love to fully commit myself to being a programmer. Oh,
Pastel Witch doing visual novels currently.
We're working on a potential visual novel for Scruffy Bumps. Jennifer's working on that.
Yeah.
Nicholas says that he is a software developer. Cool. All right. Mips Sinclair says, I develop browser-based games coding.
Ooh.
Cool. Alrighty. We're going to roll it.
Roll it.
And it is... Oh, it's Pichiga01, the one that said they couldn't get...
Pachiga. Let's not let them win. They haven't given us any money.
I have a feeling that Pachiga isn't going to be allowed to accept a prize from strangers on the internet.
That's a good point. Can you accept prizes from strangers?
That's kind of weird. Why would Nightbot pick the one that just said the parents were scared of stranger danger? Anyway, Pachiga, I'm sorry, but you won. So I think you're going to have to figure out some way to convince your parents to send personal information to strangers on the internet.
We should put something really horrible in the package just to reinforce don't trust strangers.
What are you going to put razor blades in candy and
razor blades covered in poop?
That's not nice. What's the point of razor blades covered in poop?
When it scratches you, then you get an infection.
But no one touches poop. Your concepts for how to embed razor blades in things are terrible. You're a horrible stranger. Really got to get better at that. Anyway, Pechiga. You did win the prize. I doubt your parents will let you claim it, but if they do, send an email to support@mysterious.design. Include your mailing address, your phone number, and your name. Do that within 24 hours, and we will send you this lovely white bunny. Where did it go? Where's my button to click on? There we go. This lovely white bunny gift set.
And some razor blades in poop.
Yeah. There you go. All right. We got to move on because we're really running out of time here.
Oh, geez.
Where were we? So we talked about the important Mysterious Studio stuff. And,
shout out.
Yes, we got to do the shout out. Oh, man. Okay, there's so much stuff to cover today. We're not going to have enough time for all of this. So shout out. Here we go. So our good friend Andrew sent us this, which I believe he's involved with the Kickstarter and the film. It is Jonathan Barkin, who I've talked to many times in the past, is the editor over at Dread Central. I think that's what it's called. It's a horror-based website. I hope I'm getting that right. Anyway, this is on Kickstarter right now. It is Mental Health and Horror, a documentary. And I believe that Jonathan is the writer-director for this. And it explores the notion that horror in general as a genre, but specifically horror films, can actually have positive results for people who are suffering with various types of mental illness. Yeah, that's it. So he sent along a note, and in that note, it did include some links to the Kickstarter, which I'm going to put up on screen here. I think next time we're going to have to create a bit.ly link, so it'll be easier for people to punch that stuff in. But you can go over and search for it. The Kickstarter ends on July 23rd, and it is Mental Health and Horror, a documentary, which is up on Kickstarter right now. There's also some trailers that you can watch. Now, I think we downloaded those to this computer, but in the interest of time, I think we're going to have to skip it today. But it looks like before the next time, or by the next time we have a live stream, we could actually carve out a bit more time for this and play the trailer and everything like that.
All right.
Okay.
But there you go. Mentioned it a little bit now. They can go to Kickstarter. They can find it.
There you go. And I'll share some of this stuff on my Instagram and Facebook as well to help support their Kickstarter. It's always good to get support for your Kickstarter. All right. Now we need to move on to the next topic, which is Plushy Dreadfuls. Ooh, is that right?
Think so.
Okay. Where did I put the Plushy Dreadfuls stuff? Oh, I think I left it in Monday.
All right.
So I'm gonna have to go over here. Yay!
Navigate.
Now there is one thing that we talked about, or that is in the question stuff you have. It's also cross-posted to Patreon. So why don't we talk about that first?
All right.
So we recently posted up this concept for OCD Rabbit. If you don't know, OCD stands for Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. And this also would include something called Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder, which is an adjunct to, or similar to in some respects, obsessive compulsive. Now, obsessive compulsive can be a personal issue where you do things in a repetitive fashion, or you need to clean. Now, I know a lot of people, we'll talk about the cleaning part in a moment here. The obsessive compulsive personality disorder means that you try to push these things off onto other people. So for example, you have a lot of rules about the way things should be, and then as an obsessive compulsive personality disorder person, you then try to impose those rules onto other people, even to the extent that it disrupts your relationships and their life and your life. So this got posted up over on Instagram. It generated a tremendous response. Now, one of the reasons, first off, that we created this was that many people asked for this. Tons and tons of people have said repeatedly across multiple of our Plushy Dreadful posts, please make an OCD rabbit for me. And on top of that, I, American McGee, suffer from OCD. It's what makes me an asshole. And it's why I push people around me to follow my rules, damn it. So if anybody out there knows me, like Martin knows me, he sees how I clean the spaces around me, and I'm pretty obsessive about that, and I like rules and I push them onto other people. Martin also has OCD, OCPD, I think in particular, and I'm not even sure if you know it, but he gets quite bothered when things don't fall in line or people don't respond in time. So I think that Martin's is, like many people who responded to this post, a sort of mild form of undiagnosed OCPD.
Omni-consumer products, indeed.
There you go.
Right. It's normal, isn't it? If things don't fall right, you get a bit miffed.
You get more than miffed. And I get more than miffed also. So, you know, when it rises to the level of feeling a sense of anger or injustice or rage, that's when you know it's sort of crossed over into something more than just being annoyed with people, right? So that's why I know where mine comes from. Now, a lot of the comments that we got in relation to this post on Instagram, I found interesting because I believe that many of the people who have OCD also have OCPD, but they don't realize it, but it does manifest itself in the comments that they make, because the comments are often very, I guess you could say, controlling. They are trying to impose their rules of the way they think about OCD onto the way other people behave about OCD, which is a classic marker of OCPD, right? So, and I saw that one of the comments, and it was the one that I pinned to the top of this, was from Juvia Melissa, who you know because she poses with our rabbits, and she's a cosplayer and does some really great stuff. She even said she didn't realize there was such a thing as OCPD until she saw this post. So she says this post maybe changed her life because it kind of woke her up to the fact of having this strict sense of rules and imposing those rules on other people as being something that is a part of, but also separate from her OCD.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have comments like these as opposed to all of the...
Oh, and Juvia is here in the chat.
Where?
She's right there in the green text.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So hello, Juvia. Yeah,
Hello.
I liked her comment a lot, and it was the same for me. It's like when I go to read about OCPD, I realize that, oh, that's why I'm such a controlling asshole. So
now we know.
Now we know, and now I have a rabbit for myself as well. All right. So now you had some comments from Patreon in relation to this.
I did.
Yeah.
Let's
And
have a
we
look.
also have, while you read those, I'm going to pull up in Monday the new variation. Please read. Don't look at this
You want me
screen.
to read over you?
I want you to stop looking at my screen. That would make things go a lot faster. All right, go for it.
Okay. One here. Jason Coleman says, are people that suffer from OCD always necessarily about cleanliness or being punctual? I had it pretty bad when I was younger, but mine didn't really manifest in those ways. So basically, and I'll go down to this one as well by Juicery. If you want to relate the OCD to grooming, maybe a gross suggestion, but ever heard of compulsive skin pickers? So basically, it doesn't always manifest in the same way for the same people. So how do you represent it in a rabbit?
Well, this is a common one, so I think for the rest of the comments that read in that fashion, you can skip them. But I will say that we saw this same comment come up over and over again, sometimes presented in a less, shall we say, comfortable tone or fashion, some of them being quite accusatory or claiming that by focusing on the cleanliness aspect, we were doing real harm, with like, asterisks around it. So I want to say that there is a kind of bias going on here in terms of why we would focus on cleanliness, but it's not what I think many people would like to jump to as the reason for the bias. So one of the things that happened in those comments is people saying, why do people always have to show cleanliness as the thing that marks out OCD? I have many other symptoms of OCD and they're nothing to do with cleanliness. Well, I imagine the answer to that question has a lot to do with the same reason why we can't show some of those other symptoms as a rabbit, because there's a question of how do you represent, say, for instance, skin picking in the design of a plush toy. Now, we can put little scars in the skin, and of course you can see on the screen here that we have done that. These do double duty. They function to show that the cleaning process has maybe worn skin off of this person, this rabbit, but they also show that the skin picking may be going on here. But, with something like obsessive thoughts, how do you represent obsessive thoughts? Now, this is the same question that you might ask if you were, say, for instance, making a television series and you wanted to quickly visually communicate that the person had OCD. Can you tell me how a director and a writer would quickly and visually tell the story of obsessive thoughts in film media, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy thing to do, to show an internal thought process. It is very easy to show somebody scrubbing a pan until it gets super clean and their fingers start bleeding, right? That's why these things get kind of stereotyped. It's not because people don't want to pay attention to your symptoms. It's because when we design a rabbit, I don't know how to show obsessive thoughts in a rabbit design. Now, we are trying. We've decided that the update of the design might include a little cloth brain, and inside the cloth brain, then this was a suggestion by one of the people who commented on Instagram, we would include this crinkly material, like when you move it and smush it. It's like oftentimes you'll find it in dog toys and things like that.
Right.
It crinkles. So then the idea is you've got the little brain in there and you can take the brain out and then you can squish it and it'll crinkle. And so that's kind of the notion for obsessive thoughts. Obviously, he's got the cleaning thing. He's also got a watch, which represents the addiction to timeliness or having things be rule-based and on schedules.
All right.
What other comments have you got?
Apparently, was there some sort of issue about having a watch with batteries in?
Well, yeah, so I mentioned that in the original post, that one of the things we have to be careful about, A, is that we cannot ship things from here in China to the rest of the world that include batteries. And B, I really, really want to avoid shipping things that can break. One of the great things about making and shipping plush toys is that plush toys are soft and that they you can smush them, but you can't really break them. When it comes to something mechanical like a watch, the expectation is that it arrives and it should work. But I think in the case of this rabbit, if we do ship it with a watch, We're going to stress that the watch is merely a prop, and if it mechanically doesn't function when you receive it, then sorry, it wasn't really meant to. Maybe some people will get a functioning watch, maybe not.
Yeah.
But that's why I made note of that.
Okay. Lucky Dragon here. It's a bit of a comment, but it basically boils down to, should we be commoditizing real mental illness and disabilities like this?
Yes, that's a great comment, Martin. I'm so glad you read that one.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a fairly long response to Lucky Dragon, and I know that Lucky Dragon is in the chat here today. I took exception with the way that the question was posed because it's what we call a loaded question. It assumes a conclusion, which is the commoditization of mental illness in the form of a question, and I didn't really appreciate that. And I kind of asked the question in return that if that is your assumption, then we also have to take things like Alice Madness Returns or the Alice games off the shelf because they deal with mental illness and yet they also have a price tag on them. I think the other thing that Lucky Dragon and some other people who made comments about this was that, oh, what are we going to now go down the list of all the mental illnesses and make plush dolls about them all? No. We're not planning to do that. Like I said, people have specifically requested that we make this OCD Rabbit. And then we also have people like myself who have specific experience with OCD. But if someone were to ask for something that we don't have direct experience with, then we would decline to do that. Or if, say, for instance, the request was for something that was kind of distasteful or not able to be represented in a way that I felt comfortable with, for this, I think that it's a good way to represent it, and based on the comments and the feedback that we've seen from Instagram, those are overwhelmingly positive. And when we see people responding positively and telling us things like, this rabbit is helping me, or thank you for representing something that is close to me, then I take that to mean as a positive and that people want that product. So, yeah.
We get a lot of comments in on Zendesk. It's not just for people complaining about whether their items have shipped or got lost in transit or whatever. Lots of people write in when the items arrive to tell us they love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's helping, you know, thanks guys. Positive vibes all around, really.
That's
So,
right. So
good.
Pastel Witch says, I'd love to see depression or anxiety. Well, we've already done anxiety.
Anxiety.
Anxiety has little anxiety bunnies that live in the zipper in the back. And depression is on the way. And
No, they've escaped.
oh no! Well, maybe that rabbit just doesn't have any anxieties. There is one that Jennifer was working on called Imposter Rabbit. So this one, I have a tough time understanding if there's a large enough audience for this. It's not loading now. And I don't know that enough people are aware of imposter syndrome. So this one's kind of on hold at the moment. OCD Rabbit is kind of racing to the front just because it seems to be getting a fairly good response. I know Jin and Yin are also working on a numb bunny. They're working on a numb bunny, which would be representative of depression. And you can see if you go up and down the list here, there's quite a few. There's Euphoria Giraffe and Bad Boy Rabbit and Manic Rabbit and Rage Rabbit. I like Rage quite a lot.
What's Bad Boy Rabbit?
Do we dare click?
I don't know. Is it going to look like a 70s
it's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's that one.
Exactly. So there's quite a few. And yeah, anxiety is already done. I mean, these all kind of started here as a early sketch, and then they progress into the thing that you see Martin was holding up there. So yeah, and then, you know, we've got more that we had previously shown off that are made now. So this is the Toto.
Yeah.
Toto plush, finished and from the factory, and he's got his little bat wings. Now, he doesn't represent anything, I guess, psychological. I mean, not everything has to be that way, right? This is obviously the Toto from The Wizard of Oz, and we were doing this one specifically for Halloween because it's got a whole kind of bat Halloween theme. Here, you hold him. Yin did up this really cool little bag with bat wings. The bag has bat wings, so it can fly away. So Toto will go in the Batwing bag with the little pumpkin scarecrow face on it. And yeah, so not everything is about emotion and psychological issues and whatnot.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, that's about it for the OCD Rabbit post then.
All right.
This is
Well, before we do that, let's just finish the conversation about Plushy Dreadfuls.
okay.
So the OCD Rabbit conversation is still ongoing. I'll post up another image related to that on Instagram very soon, and you can continue your comments on it. I did just show everybody that Toto, that's going to come to the Mysterious Shop very soon. And then the other thing that we've been working on is the Scruffy Bumps, which was the theme song that you heard at the start of today's live stream. If you wanted to hear that again, it is over on my YouTube channel. You can go listen to the Scruffy Bumps theme song. And yeah, I'm working on this with Jen and Adam. Adam is our tech guy, not Adam, the concept artist. And so we've been creating the backstory for Scruffy Bumps. And I think that some of you may have tuned in previously and seen that, like, we're making skulls that are basically based, and I know some people were like, cat skulls don't have ears, and I'm like, but they can melt steel beams, it doesn't matter. We know that cat skulls don't have ears. This is meant to be not so much of a cat skull, but like an ancient Egyptian relic that you would find in a spooky sort of art relic type of museum. Why? Because we're going to link Scruffy Bumps up to this Egyptian goddess named Sekhmet. How would you pronounce that?
Sekhmet.
Sekhmet.
Yeah,
I think that's
probably
right. Yeah. Who was a warrior goddess who basically tried to kill the planet and then was only stopped by virtue of getting her drunk on red colored beer, as you do.
As you do.
Yeah. So we're making these skulls. This has been sent off, and we're gonna produce these and sell them. And they link up with Scruffy Bumps, and Scruffy Bumps is obviously getting made as a toy.
Barely see that. But that's the point.
That is the point. You're not supposed to see him until you're
Can't
already
see him
dead.
coming.
And then we're working on an app, kind of like, it's not so much of a game, but it's sort of like this way that you enter into the universe of Scruffy Bumps. And for those who don't know, the backstory of Scruffy Bumps is basically that Scruffy Bumps is the cat that kills animal abusers, right? So if you ever saw like the video of the guy kicking the dog in the elevator, that guy in our universe goes on and he gets murdered by Scruffy Bumps. So we're gonna then create an app that looks like you're kind of signing into a dark web underground thing that's crowdsourcing the collection of information about animal abusers, but it's also tracking reports and stories of the legend of Scruffy Bumps, because Scruffy Bumps goes around basically being like a serial killer cat who murders animal abusers. And there's going to be a network of people, those are the people who own Scruffy Bumps dolls, who log into this and share like creepypasta stories about animal abusers and the ways that they die in horrible fashion. And then underneath all of that will be like this dark death cult related to Sekhmet, who I guess at some point we're going to have to realize is out to kill the world, and they're going to use Scruffy Bumps to do it. And I don't know if we want to let them do that, or if like it'll eventually become everyone's mission to stop that. But anyway, there's quite a lot of story being developed here of where the legend begins and how Scruffy Bumps comes into being, and then how you end up with a Scruffy Bumps. And every Scruffy Bumps is going to have a NFC tag in the back of the cat. So when you scan it, just like when you scan an actual dog or cat, but you know, you have like the tags in them. But this will open up this kind of dark web portal and allow you to access the Scruffy Bumps community. So anyway, we're working on that, and it's
Sounds
all coming.
great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, I think.
Also, take a shot every time American just said Scruffy Bumps.
If you say it too many times, Scruffy Bumps appears and murders you. So just don't say it too many times without drinking. Somebody says, "So Slender Kitty." Yeah, that's a good one.
Pretty much.
And yes, the Scruffy Bumps ARG. That's right. That's absolutely right.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna post up some more about this stuff on Patreon, and on Instagram and places like that, and we'll start to share some more of this this sort of story and backstory in the app stuff, and then you guys can comment on the design of that and let us know if you have any suggestions or ideas and things like that.
All right.
There you go. All right.
Speaking of suggestions and ideas,
It's prize time.
is it?
It is.
Oh,
Oh, and it is Tom. Oh, yeah, Tom is there. So Tom Resnick, who's in the chat right now, that is who produced the Scruffy Bumps theme song. And I want to do a shout out to Tom. I wrote a note to him on Gmail and I was like, hey, Tom, we want to do this thing, kind of like a Nightmare Before Christmas theme. And it's this cat that murders people. And what would you think about doing a theme song for that? And he wrote back and he's like, ooh, that sounds like fun. I'm already sketching some lyrics. And he posted some lyrics in the note. And then the next morning when I woke up, my inbox was that theme song. And I was like, wow. And he, like, first time, he just nailed it. And then he said, oh, I could redo it, or we could get someone else to do the singing. And I'm like, why would you touch it? It's perfect, perfect as it is. So props to Tom. Amazing theme song.
pretty damn swish.
Yeah. All right.
All
What do you
right.
got? Prize.
Well, this could actually tie into the question for the prize time.
Let's do it.
The Patreon post, we were asking people for their ideas of what goal/product item we could do next, something that may be interesting. And we said that, you know, it's going to take a few months for this to get produced.
Go ahead. Don't look at me.
So yeah, is anything Halloweeny or Christmassy coming to mind? So the question is, what kind of thing would you like to see us produce next? Because, you know, we have access to a lot of manufacturing type stuff over here. Hit us with your ideas.
Well, but okay, first of all, there's a limit on how heavy a thing can be.
Yes.
And there's also the restriction on you can't be sending around things that have batteries, and we prefer not to do things that have mechanical pieces that can break or malfunction. So you kind of need to keep it in the realm of, like, when we did the coins, you know, that can't really break. It doesn't need batteries, or the plush toys, you know, those don't break or need batteries. So kind of keep it in that zone. You know, my wife has done all kinds of stuff. Like, she's done these little card holder wallet jiggers, and she's done, you know, socks and stuff like that. So it just, you know, don't suggest that we, like, make a time machine and send time machines to everybody. Toilet seats, says
Toilet
Wendy.
seats, maybe.
Great.
Well, this one was mentioned a few times. Here's one from Kayla Cutton.
Are they supposed to answer this in the chat now?
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's the question.
in the chat, throw your ideas at us,
Yep.
and then meanwhile you're gonna read some. Okay,
You can't have a life-sized Martin or American.
but you could have one of those pillows, like the long pillows with us printed on there.
But yes, this was mentioned a few times. Vorpal Vorpal blade replicas.
We can't send knife-shaped things.
Yes, weapony,
We
knifey,
tried-
stabby
We
thing.
tried that before. It's also important to note that we have to be careful about the ways in which we sort of cheekily leverage anything related to Alice. There's stuff that's public domain enough or far enough away from where EA would get upset. But as a general rule, if it's not something that's really closely related to the Patreon, like if we do an art print calendar, that's one thing. But if we were to create, like, say, an Alice figurine doll, that's not okay. And so I would really prefer it if everybody came up with ideas that didn't get us in trouble on that side of things.
Well, Sarah Peter Parker and a couple of people mentioned charm bracelets.
I think Malicious Misery has the perfect idea there. One side of the body pillow is American and the other side is Martin. Can we be holding hands across the pillow?
across the seam.
That would be great.
Would it? Would it?
Yeah, come on.
Celtic Kitty saying yes for Halloweeny stuff, but also a big yes for doing the calendar again, like we did last year.
So I think it's pretty easy for us to do a calendar.
Lots of people
that's high on
are
the
saying,
list.
why not?
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Such as, yes, Sarah Heist said that. Rubna's Custom Creation said that. Here's a good one from Ghibli Girl. Jigsaw puzzle. of some of our prints, perhaps.
Yeah, it's okay. I think you've mentioned that before. It's
be
not
good.
not hard to find. We've seen factories that do jigsaw puzzles, so okay.
Maybe.
think about that.
I like that one.
Hmm.
Samantha S. Square? Rosas. Tarot deck. That has been mentioned a lot.
We've heard tarot deck
Yeah.
a million times. We'd love to do a tarot deck. I think that, one of the problems is everybody would like an Alice themed tarot deck, and I think that's just taking it a little too far, as far as like a product. And I think that would probably, if we did that, there'd be tons of people that wanted to buy it, and if it just turned into some accidental mega success, again, it gets us in a bit of trouble.
And I guess finally, before we have a look at these ones, Wendy J, a postcard set. Now, do you remember the art from recently, like the last couple of months? There was some that looked like Victorian postcards.
Sure.
I would love if some more of those got made, and like a little like pack of like 10.
Right.
A postcard set of that would be pretty cool. So,
All right.
lots of good ideas. Was there anything scrolling past while I had my eyes cast down?
Well, I mean, the body pillow thing got more than a few laughs. There's some people, there's the paper dolls. I think Joey
dolls.
kind of suggested that a long time ago.
She did.
People talking about things like Cheshire Cat hard figures. Again, you have to keep in mind, we really don't have license to produce stuff like that. So let's not do Cheshire Cat Alice hard figurines. Look, we could do all kinds of hard figurines. They just can't be based on the Alice IP. So if it was something from Oz, or if it was a Scruffy Bumps, or if it was like a Martin resin doll, then sure. People saying backpacks. We do have some backpacks over on Mysterious. Mechanical heart models. See, now that's an interesting one. Something like that is a new invention of ours. Yes, it links into the Alice universe, but it's far enough outside anything that EA claims ownership to that we could potentially do it.
It's a good idea.
So
I like that. Really good, high quality
resin,
big
maybe a little LED in there. They could have a little pump and squirt red Kool-Aid out on your face.
Maybe.
That'd be kind of cool. All right, so I like mechanical heart model. That's a cool one. Let's think about that, because we are now hooked up with these factories that make these hard goods, toy type stuff.
That email that's in our mysterious inbox, I think somebody claimed they make models from 2D images.
They do all claim that.
Yeah.
But they will tell you after they claim that it's better if you send them the 3D model.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you want to roll it?
I think we're going to roll it. I'm just seeing anybody else. There's a lot of comments here, like the Cheshire Cat pop figures that seem to be, well, I think it's the same Dryad Dragoon who keeps making the same suggestions over and over again, that we are in the line of things we can't do. So,
Scruffy Bumps bed sheets.
that's a good one.
Bed sheets. Why aren't we doing bed sheets?
So yeah, I think we're good. That's all the comments. All kind of good. All right, Let's roll it. Let's see what Nightbot has to say over here. And it is Scary 151.
Ooh.
I feel like Scary won something in the last 6 months, but congratulations, Scary. You will want to send an email to support@mysterious.design and let us know that you won one of these White Rabbit sets. Oops, it's not on screen now. White Bunny sets, sorry. Be sure to include your name, your mailing address, your phone number, and do all that within 24 hours, and also in a legible format that does not cause us anger or anxiety or angst, and we will send out your prize to you pronto.
We shall.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So, are we done? Have we gone through all the things? I'm exhausted.
I mean, there's some more comments, but I mean,
Right.
yeah.
So I think we're good. I think that we scrolled through things like we talked about the Legend of Scruffy Bumps. We talked about the shout out for people to contact us if they happen to be developers or development studio.
We did the other shout out, the
progress being
Kickstarter.
made there. There's Twitter. Let's not look at that. That's a giant garbage fire. We talked about the Plushy Dreadfuls and all the fun stuff going on over there on Monday. And OCD Rabbit and all the fun comments that generated. So, yeah, I think we're good.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Well, we're gonna ask you now to do the things.
Do the 4 things.
You do the
All right.
You do the things.
All right. Scroll as we do it though. Thing number 1.
Oh, you
Sign up to our mailing list,
Oh, I see.
which you can find over there on AmericanMcGee.com. Only real emails, please. Fake ones don't help, so bear that in mind. Follow us on social media. As you can see from all those little icons there, you can find us in most places, including Tumblr. Did you start using it?
I cross post to Tumblr from Instagram all the time. Yeah. So if you happen to be on Tumblr, you can find me posting things there on Tumblr.
Ooh. We do have a Patreon, as I'm sure you know. Go over there, have a read. All the posts we put up there they become available to all people after 3 days. So even if you're not a patron, you can still go and have a read. But please join us. We give away some good stuff over there, and you get to see lots of cool art. And we do have our mysterious store, which is thing number 4 you can do. So yeah, we sell t-shirts, wallets, skulls, plushies, jewelry, lots and lots of things can be had over at mysterious.americanmcgee.com.
And eventually, this cat skull will be there too. Look, it's the same hand. Ah! Yeah, the cat skull will be up there, I guess, in a few weeks or a month or so. I tried to make it the same size as the little palm skull.
Right.
Can you tell? Do you know that I sculpted this cat skull?
I do.
Yeah, and then Yen came in and gave me some help on it.
Right.
She fixed up some of the geometry and proportions on it because it turns out she's a classically trained artist and I'm not. So I needed her help in order to make that not look total poop.
So there you go. The 4 things. If you want to join in and help and all that jazz.
There you go. All right. I think that's it for today. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to say, and I'm Martin.
And I'm Martin.
You dropped the joke flat on the floor. All right, everybody. We are going to be back again with you in 2 weeks.
Probably.
Your birthday went past, so we don't have to worry about that. And this soccer ball thing is...
That's going to be finished as
Did we already say happy birthday to you on the last stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't do a vast amount. It was kind of chilled, but it was nice. So there you go. It's all good.
That's right. Good. So we will be back in about 2 weeks, and hopefully at that time we may have some more news on the effort we're doing towards the new studio. We'll have some news on things like Scruffy Bumps and the skulls getting made and all kinds of fun stuff. And of course, there'll be lots of new art and story updates for Asylum. So we will see you then.
Yes, so get bent and all that.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge, and Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks. And if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge, and Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks. And if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names